was thrown onto the field when they chose to play for England and also for British clubs. This was a time of sus laws and tremendous tensions between the police and the black community, and it wasn't that long after Windrush that you got the Notting Hill riots, and I don't need to tell you about the stories of so many other riots in Brixton, in Handsworth, in Chapeltown and Leeds, in Bristol, St Paul's, all across black urban areas because of the racism that was rife in our country at that time. And I think it's right to say that many of us thought those days were over. No one suggested it was perfect. Everyone felt you had to be virulent. There was always things to campaign for, particularly in relation to policing and some of the issues of brutality that we've experienced in this community. But none of us quite believed that here in 2017 we would have the kind of conflation and attack that we are witnessing.
Trump is coming to London, we know that, or he's coming to Britain. When he comes, we need to flood London, or flood Balmoral for that matter, wherever it is. Everyone who shares our values has got to be there.
In the 21st century, people are having to flee where they live for safety. That's really what it comes down to. I know the Tories would like to tell you it's because somehow the benefits here are so great, but let's be quite honest, that's not why people flee and risk their lives with their families and young children for the benefit system. There's nothing great about the benefit system. If you speak to any refugee, the one thing they will tell you is that they do want to go back home to where they're from. They want to go and continue to live where they grew up with their friends and their families, and they would never put their children and themselves at that risk. But that's what they tell us. You know, they tell us that that's what it's about. But
one of the worst types of Islamophobia is attacks from peers in schools and universities. The list goes on and on. Our people are suffering. They're scared. We're scared for our children and our grandchildren. Why? Because some people have been brainwashed into believing that Muslims are bad people, that they want to take away your freedom, your way of life. They want to impose Sharia law. And they're terrorists. Our religion is a religion of peace, and we want to live in peace with all members of our communities.
I think what we have to achieve in the next 2 weeks is the Lords, hopefully, will basically pass an amendment which states that European nationals have got the right to stay, and that British nationals abroad have maximum rights as well, so it's a reciprocal thing, which sends a very strong message to the government about how we feel about this debate.
We have to think about why 2 million people signed a petition against Trump, but not even a fraction of that signed a petition when people died in UK deportation centres. And that's the kind of question we need to challenge ourselves with.
Send a message of solidarity, but most important, I am the daughter of immigrants. I'm from Jewish heritage, but I fight for justice, so I'm fighting for the people of Palestine. My dad, when he... and the only job he could do was working in the sewers. But he said the sewers are rather good because you used to get a bath. Once, after you finish your work, you got a bath. A big deal in the 30s. But once a week, all the people who worked in the sewers used to march into the East End if they knew Mosley was having a meeting, and they didn't have a bath that day, and they all decided they needed a good shake when they got to meet the Mosleyites, and they soon got rid of them. My dad also told me that he said, you're not clever, you're not good looking, he said, the reason you're here is to fight racism. This is what your family have been doing for generations. You have to carry on the fight. And I thought to myself, well, it's easy for me, the problem's solved. Who'd have thought that I, as an old woman, would be standing here, singing I'm seeing things I thought I had got rid of in 1968. I didn't stand on the barricades in 1968 to imagine that as a 68-year-old woman I would see these sort of things. This is terrible. We owe it to ourselves and the generations who came before us and the generations who come after us to fight against racism in the best way we can. Thank you.
This group here, Football Against Apartheid, and I feel like I'm the dad of that young man who told us about his Irish dad. I came here in '67 and arrived on the train from Euston, and walking towards the place I was going to stay, I saw all of these shop windows, the tobacconists, the news agents in those days, the other days for agents, the shop windows, rooms to let, suits for young boys sharing, or 3 men sharing, no dogs rationally apply. I saw that with my own 2 eyes, and that was the beginning of my fight back against racism. If people recall, the older people my age will remember that that was the time of the civil rights demonstrations in Northern Ireland, and the British government were falling apart that this had come to Britain, that we would start arguing for civil rights here. And when I, that time, want to speak about racism and speak about what's happening in Ireland, and people were dying to hear, say, how can we get the civil rights movement into England? And they scared the shit out of them. And Jim Callaghan was going around the country, and people were chasing him and saying, why don't you call for civil rights? Why don't you support the Truth Out movement? And so on and so forth. And then what we had, black people come to this country, you know, and suddenly the Irish people had friends. We were all out of the same pub, and we were united against racism. And then the National Front came on the scene, and they wanted to have a go at the Jews. And the Irish and black people and Jews were now together, we're 3, who were going down to the cinemas and the synagogues and say, no Passaran. And that was the very first, at the beginning, of the real fight back against racism in this country. And then, of course, the Pakistanis came from this East Africa, people said, and we had a little bit of Paki bashing. And again, we were 4 now. We're Irish, blacks, Jews, and Pakistanis who said, no Passaran. And we beat the fascists off the streets. Literally beat them. They went into the football clubs, the fascists did, and they tried to organise and bring people from the football clubs. And we were there. And we got involved in the fight against apartheid in South Africa, and we used football as our tool, and we expelled apartheid South Africa from football, and that is why we're coming to here today, as people who are campaigning, because racism is bad, and we all know it is bad, but there's only one form that's really deadly, and it's been deadly in South Africa, and it's even more deadly in what the Israelis are doing to Palestine. There are 561 babies dead, innocent children killed in their beds, sleeping innocently in their beds, massacred. And the world has not a single thing to say about it. The Guardian, the Independent, all the people, everybody is quiet and silent. 561 people massacred in their beds, for goodness sakes. Not to mention the 2,000 other civilians. So we're saying they must take action. And that action has to be reasonable. In Liverpool, they stood on the streets and said, no Passaran to Nick Griffin. The Irish and Jews got together in the Cambridge Street and said, no Passaran. And that is what we need to start saying as well. When we demonstrated with 3 million people out on the street, demonstrating against the war, 3 million people thought, this will definitely stop them. Blair sat inside watching television, watching football and television until it all passed by, and it did all pass by. What should we have done that? We should have, no Passaran. All we do is nothing, just sit down in front of Parliament and say, no Passaran. And we would have won that. But I didn't come here tonight. I come here as well to ask you to probably support this campaign that we've got here against the worst manifestation of racism there is in the world today, and that is ethnic cleansing of Palestine. And we ask you to please give a thought to supporting that campaign. Thank you.